Billionaire helped a crying woman. Then she said his name, Daniel Hayes, was used to solving problems with money. If a deal collapsed, he fixed it. If a company struggled, he bought it. If someone needed help, he wrote a check. But one evening, something happened that money couldn't explain. It was late autumn in the city. The air was cold, and the streets were glowing with yellow streetlights after a light rain. Daniel had just finished a long board meeting and decided to walk a few blocks instead of calling his driver. Sometimes the quiet helped him think. As he passed a small park near the street, he noticed someone sitting alone on a bench. A woman. She had her head buried in her hands, shoulders shaking as she cried. People walked past her without stopping. No one asked if she was okay. Daniel slowed down. Normally, he would have kept walking. Billionaires learned quickly that stopping for strangers could create unwanted attention. But something about the scene felt different. He walked over slowly. "Excuse me," he said gently. "Are you all right?" The woman quickly wiped her tears and tried to compose herself, clearly embarrassed that someone had noticed. "I'm fine," she said softly, though it was obvious she wasn't. Daniel sat down on the other side of the bench, leaving a respectful distance. "You don't look fine," he said calmly. "If you need help, I might be able to do something." For a moment she didn't respond. Then the words came out in a rush. "I just lost my job today," she said, "and my landlord already warned me about the rent. I don't know what I'm going to do." Daniel listened quietly. Stories like this were not uncommon. In his world, financial problems could disappear with a single signature. He reached into his coat and pulled out his card. "Call this number tomorrow," he said, handing it to her. "Tell them Daniel sent you. They'll help with your rent and give you time to figure things out." The woman looked at the card with trembling hands. She stared at the name printed on it. Then suddenly she froze. Her eyes widened. Daniel noticed the sudden change. "Is something wrong?" he asked. The woman slowly looked up at him, her voice shaking. "Daniel Hayes." Daniel blinked in surprise. "Yes," he said. "That's my name." The woman stared at him for a long moment, disbelief all over her face. Then she whispered something that made his heart skip. "I knew it was you." Daniel frowned slightly. "Have we met before?" Tears filled her eyes again, but this time they weren't the same kind of tears. "You probably don't remember me," she said softly. "But 20 years ago, you changed my life." Daniel leaned forward, confused. "What do you mean?" She took a deep breath. "When I was a little girl, my father worked at a small factory. One day the company shut down and everyone lost their jobs." Daniel listened carefully. "We were about to lose our home," she continued. "My father was desperate. Then the company owner did something no one expected." Daniel felt a strange feeling growing in his chest. The owner paid 3 months of salary to every worker? Even though he didn't have to. The memory suddenly returned. It had been one of Daniel's father's old factories. Back when Daniel was young, his father had insisted on helping the workers after closing the business. Daniel had helped distribute the envelopes himself. The woman smiled faintly through her tears. "My father was one of those workers," she said. "That money saved our family." Daniel sat there silently. "I remember that day," she continued softly. "Your father brought you with him. You were the one handing out the envelopes." Her voice trembled slightly. "You probably don't remember the little girl standing next to her dad, but I never forgot the boy who helped my family." Daniel felt the weight of the moment settle around him. Years ago, a small act of kindness from his family had saved someone's life. And now, that same life had crossed his path again on a quiet bench in the city. The world suddenly felt much smaller. Daniel smiled gently. "Well," he said, standing up and offering his hand, "it looks like life just brought us back to the same place. Sometimes the kindness you give to strangers disappears into the past, but sometimes it waits patiently, until the day it finds its way back to you." Comment and tell us where you're watching this video from. Some people don't subscribe because they think that even their one subscribe might help make me a big YouTuber.